Hello, hello. I am live. What's up, everyone? I am Rebecca. You're watching Rebecca the Reseller. Thanks for joining me today for, I think this is my second in a row, Thursday live stream. Yay! So excited. I have missed going live during the pandemic. I just couldn't. Homeschool, craziness, could not do it. So I'm really excited to do it because I enjoy kind of talking live with people. So I hope that everyone can start joining these, mark it on your calendar, subscribe to the channel, get notifications so that you can always come. My plan with these live streams, again, on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern time, is to kind of have a topic that I can go over and kind of spit out a bunch of info, have it kind of be pretty content heavy, and then turn it into a discussion. And whether that discussion continues on from the topic at hand for that week, or it goes off into question and answer, random tangents, that's okay too. I don't mind that. Any kind of reselling talk, e-com talk, all that fun stuff is good for me. So I definitely enjoy that. And hopefully this will work. So I did put together some notes today because I wanted to make sure that I stuck to what I needed to stick to. And let me just go ahead and send one. A guest is here, but they're not here to see me. They're here to see somebody else, my mom here. And so I'm making sure that they're connected at the same time being live. So anyway, today's topic is getting more efficient and really kind of finding your bottlenecks, finding the problems that exist within your systems, finding the lack of systems in your business with all of your reselling tasks. For me, I love systems. I love making a plan and a process to repeat similar steps over and over again so that I can think less and so that things go more smoothly. And you might think, well, I don't have any helpers. I don't have, somebody taking photographs for me. So I don't need to write down a system. I don't need a system. I have my own system and everything is fine. I challenge that. I really do. I challenge that for every part of your business because things do change, and sometimes you don't change with the thing as far as what you're doing, your processes, your systems for photographing, for listing, for sourcing, even for pricing. And those are some of the topics that I'm going to talk about. And so you can really be at a loss because you could get a lot more done if you really fine-tuned and improved every step of the way. And I just can't help doing it. Like, it's a fun thing for me to be like, can I shave a few seconds off of this process? It used to be out of necessity because I had a little toddler, a little baby, and now he's 5 and, he's at school, thank God. So I have more time than I ever have, but I still really rely on these processes because I want to do the most with the time that I have. And so I hope that some of these little tidbits that I'm going to go over and then that we'll keep talking about in the live will work out. So first of all, I would love to just say welcome to everybody that's here. Go ahead, if you're in the chat watching live, say hi. Let me know where you are watching from or what's going on with you. I will definitely catch up with the chat in a little bit, but for me, when I watch lives, I kind of hate all the like, hi, all that stuff in the beginning. That drives me nuts. I'm there for content. And so we'll do that, but let's do the content first and then we'll do all the hi. But say hi anyway, so that I know that people are actually here watching, can hear me, all that kind of stuff. So let's see, where am I? So in general, there's a couple things that I ask myself when I'm thinking, am I being the most efficient with my reselling tasks? And one of the questions is, does this need to get done, or is this a task that just makes me feel better? So that may be, not very popular because you may not want to analyze. You just want to do what makes you feel good, right? But I do think that analyzing whether it's something that needs to be done or whether something just makes you feel better is a good way to help you prioritize the things that you do. The other part of that really is, is this a sales generating task, or is this more of an administrative task? Because sales generating tasks should always be prioritized over an administrative task, because you'll be surprised at how long you can put something off until you must do it when it's an admin task. And when it's a sales generating task, you should be prioritizing those above everything else all the time in order to keep growing your business or to keep maintaining your business or to be building your business. So those are just a couple things that I kind of look at when I'm doing a task audit. Again, for whether it's sourcing, photographing, listing, all of these things. So now we'll get into like the actual tasks. So for sourcing, I had put out a post a week or two ago about like, where are you getting tripped up? And that was kind of like the lead into this live today to talk about these things. And so some of the places that people said they get tripped up are listing, which we're going to talk about, photographing, which we're going to talk about, pricing, which we're going to talk about. But one was surprising to me, and that was sourcing. They said they don't know what to prioritize. They don't know what to do first. They don't know where they should spend their time with regard to sourcing. So I had to think about that a little bit because it kind of struck me as like, I didn't really, okay, like let's get into that. So for me, I put some notes down as far as finding your bottlenecks and getting more efficient with sourcing. And that is really being intentional with your sourcing. Like, what are you trying to buy? Are you just going to a thrift store, wandering around the aisles and seeing what's there? I guess that could work, but that's not necessarily being intentional or having a plan or being purposeful with your possibly limited sourcing time. Or, if it takes you 3 hours to, do the full gamut of a thrift store, could you be out of there in two if you prioritized in a different way and if you were a little bit more intentional? What kinds of things sell well for you? What do you normally find? Do you have a set of criteria that you want to start sticking to say, I'm not going to source anything that I, used to source, like or this brand. Maybe you exclude certain brands. Maybe you exclude things based on comps of a certain level, like only $25 items and up. Maybe you're not dealing with sweaters anymore. So like definitely not going to go to the sweater section. I'm only going to go hit summer related things and athleisure. There's a lot of things that if you just put 5 or 10 minutes of thought on the front end of your sourcing trip, or just for sourcing for you in general, let alone just an individual trip, you might come out feeling like, wow, I really made the most of that. And I didn't waste time. I didn't buy things I don't need or want to sell, because I know we've all done this. We've gotten caught up in a thrift store on a deal, or somebody's going to like this, or that's cute. They won't mind that. Somebody's going to want that. I've done that so many times, but I'm really trying to do that less and less. And because I've put these parameters and restrictions on my sourcing, it has freed me up to source more of the things that I want. Now, if you're doing online sourcing, retail arbitrage, other things, you can still put parameters on. They're just going to look a little bit different than if you're going into a thrift store or obviously shopping at the bins, let's say. But you are in charge of what you put in your cart. And that was one of the things I said, don't put it in your cart unless it meets your criteria. I am the worst at this. I throw everything into the cart and then I find out that I have to run. And so I only look over my cart things super quick, or I don't do a good quality check, or I just say, oh, I'll just buy it and I'll return it later, but you never do. So there's a lot of things that we do that we know we could call ourselves out on to be better, more disciplined sourcers. And so I think not putting something in your cart to begin with, unless it meets your criteria, is good. Being intentional and prioritizing the sections within the store, if you're going to a typical thrift store, would be helpful. Having some criteria. So like right now, I'm not going to as many thrift stores, but I am going to some buy, sell, trade stores. And when I go, I'm prioritizing the athleisure section. I usually don't have enough time in there while they're reviewing the things I'm selling to them to hit the whole store. So I always start with athleisure. Then I might go to like shorts and summery tops because I want to start the influx of that. And then I might go to dresses because I find that that's kind of like the next best value for my time. And so I kind of have an order in which I go through. And that does change from time to time based on what I have, what I'm sourcing for, what I want. But I know that going into it, and that helps me be a little bit more intentional. And because I'm not just wandering aimlessly, those random things don't end up in my cart as much as they used to. Now, the other thing I put was checking comps in the store. So a lot of us do this. I will admit, for the good first maybe 3 to 4 years of me reselling, I'm now like coming into my 5th year, I didn't check comps in the store because that to me seemed like wasted time when I could be sourcing more things because I only had so much limited kid-free time to go sourcing to begin with. So I would just kind of go off of past previous experience, generally thinking stuff. If it was cashmere, I threw it in and I bought it no matter what. Like there's some things you buy no matter what. But certain brands that maybe I didn't know that I should have checked. I'm like, oh, but this looks like something. And I didn't check comps. And once you've bought it, now it's part of your world. So I think checking comps is good if you're not already doing that. But take it a step further to help yourself save some time. When you check those comps, take some screenshots of what you're finding and just save them. So that way, when you do eventually get to photographing and listing, and even if it takes you a little while, you have some information in your phone already researched that you don't have to go back and find again. Maybe you find a quick stock photo. Maybe you just get an idea on what a good listing price would be. Maybe you found some good keywords to describe the item that you want to make sure that you have handy for when you go to list it. You don't have to go and find those again. So put your comp checking at the store to a dual purpose use by taking screenshots of those comps if you're not already doing that. Stop repairing and mending. So, or washing even. We all kind of get sucked into, we want to save this item. We know that if we just did this, this, and this, it would be perfectly fine to sell, or it's a really high-end thing. And so we want to try, it might be worth it to get that stain out, but it's a lot of time and effort and energy. I don't put my time into any of that. If I can't get the deodorant out of the armpit with this little scrubby brush that I got on Amazon, it's linked in my video descriptions, which I love, and it works really well. And it works with a lot of other things besides deodorant, but it's just this little disc that's like foam. You just kind of do like this. And if I can't get it out with that, or if I can't get it out with a baby wipe, like I'm not dealing with it. No. So bring baby wipes with you, bring your little scrubby brush with you, and try to get the stain out real quick there. And if it doesn't happen, don't buy it. You could even take it a step further and say, if I have to steam it, I'm not buying it, because you want to save time on steaming and your steaming pile is growing and you never do it. For me, I don't mind steaming. So I have a bucket. When it gets full, I'll steam it. It doesn't bother me. But that might be a bottleneck for you. So those were some of the main things with regard to sourcing that I thought of. And I'm going to keep running through some of these things. And then I definitely want to be hearing from you guys. So put, your thoughts, your comments into the chat. And, for those that are watching the replay later, put your comments as well. So that way we can kind of keep the discussion going. But for photographing and shipping, this was kind of the next thing. And I put photographing and shipping together because I really feel like those are similar things in that they are a lot dependent on your space. If your space does not line up for the task that you're trying to complete, it's going to make it harder for you. It's going to take longer. So I recently redid my reseller room. And I don't want to say redid it because it's pretty much the same thing, but I really honed in. Like I started taking notes for weeks about move this here, get a garbage can, put it here, get an extra scissors, do this, do that. Like I kept notes so that way when it was time to do it, I already had some things that I knew were going to make my workflow a lot better. And so I basically have a shipping station on that side of the desk that you can't see. This is the photographing section where I keep everything, and then my photo setup is there. You've kind of seen it. I'm going to do another reseller room tour updated soon. And then the rest of my shipping supplies are in the closet in this room. And so for me, having this setup and this workflow has really made a big difference in how much I'm able to get done. I do have a photography process video. If you want to see my photography process, actually, I'm coming out with an updated form. It's on my Etsy shop, but I'm going to do a demo of it so you can see how that has sped things up for me. And I have a listing video with my listing template, And there was something else that were, oh, and I have my keywords. No, that's for listing. There was something else on here. I don't know, but we'll get to it when I get to it. But so for photographing and shipping, if you want to create a system or you want to fine tune your system, I suggest you slow down the process. Like say today, maybe I'm not going to get as many done, or I'm not going to get any done. I'm just going to pretend like I'm doing it so that I can pay attention to the process and the placement and the items and the equipment and the supplies and my workflow, and not so much about the quality of the photos or how many I'm getting done. Today, this process day is about process, and really find out what's stopping you. Do I stop every time because I have no scissors over here? And when I need to take a tag off, I can't because there's no scissors over here. I put one right here. I used to have one over there, but I'm doing it here. So I put it here. Like now it's next to me. My scale is handy here. I can get to it easily. I have 2 scales on this little pullout, but I don't weigh my items because everything goes on Poshmark. So I don't need it out. But if you're a person that has to weigh everything for eBay, you need your scale out. You shouldn't have to take out your scale every time you're trying to, do photos and stuff. And if that's when you're recording the weight. So stop wasting time going to get things, fix your space so that it makes sense. And by any way that you can, make your space a way, like if you can in your home, have your space stay, like have your setup out all the time. Like not having to move your lights all the time is an amazing time saver. Once I figured that out, that was wonderful. Before I had the reselling room, I used to do it in my foyer, foyer, whatever. And I had to put them and take them out and then put them away and then take them out. So time consuming. If you can have a setup, that would be great. Can your setup stay set up? Scale, deodorant scrubber, I said, is by my photo backdrop. My sweater shaver is by my photo backdrop. So I'm not going to get that out every single time. It's literally plugged in. It's there. It's ready for me anytime I need to go buzz, buzz, buzz. I don't have to stop everything, my workflow, my momentum to go and get it, sweater shave, bring it back, or worse, put it in a pile that you may never get to later. Shipping materials. I have just enough out for a couple of days. And I have a weekly schedule where I do certain things at certain times. We'll go over that in a second. And then I fill it back up again. So I don't have mountains of shipping supplies taking up all kinds of room where I have like 80 padded flat rates on my desk. They don't need to be there. They're away. But I do have handfuls of things that I need every day available to me. And then I fill it up as needed. So everything can be available and out and within easy grasp, but not all of the things that you have. You don't need all your resealable bags within arm's reach. You just need some within arm's reach. So things like that. And then have a back stock of supplies, but not all out, refill weekly. And then maybe you need multiples of things. Maybe you do certain things over here and you do certain things over there. And so you need multiple scissors. Go to the dollar store and buy another scissors. If that makes your workflow, better, go get another scissors. If you need a little caddy because you like to do some of your work while you're sitting watching TV, then make up a little caddy for yourself that you can just kind of carry around the house. Like the college students have for like the shower or whatever that you buy the first week of college and then you never actually use. You just carry everything in your arms. I don't know. I never used mine. But so those are my things with photographing and shipping, because if you really analyze the workflow, the space, what you're actually doing, what you need, when you need it, how many of them, that could help really save some time and make your system more efficient. Because it's sometimes not always just about the time, but about like how you're doing things. Are you looking around, fudging with things, or things falling all over every time you try to get your scissors or whatever? So I don't know. The next part is listing, and go ahead and keep adding some things in the chat. I will get to that. I have two sections, and then we can like do all the discussion because I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking about all this. So listing can be a lengthy, time-consuming process for some people. Obviously, I think we can all kind of agree that over time you get faster at it. In the beginning, it may take you 15, 20 minutes to list an item. And then it's going to take you 10, and then it'll take you 5. And before you know it, you can bang out a listing pretty quickly if you're not a super perfectionist. But I feel like after 5 years, and after really 2 or 3 of those years, I didn't do the work. I had a VA help me. I'm still pretty fast at it, but it's because I know what is good enough. And I think knowing what is good enough is probably your biggest tripper upper. It's not that you even don't know how to list. You know what you need to do. You've been around, even if it's only a few weeks, you've seen listings, you've watched some YouTube videos, you kind of know. You just need to be okay with what you can do in enough time. And so I think having a keywords list, whether it's mine and the one I have available on my Etsy shop or one that you develop for yourself, is crucial. The reason why I have a keywords list available in my Etsy shop for you guys to purchase is because I made it for myself, because I would look at this item and be like, it's a long sleeve top. It's actually kind of ugly. I'd never wear it and I have nothing to say. Like I just look at something like I have nothing else to say. It's a dress, it's fit and flare, it's sleeveless. I've got nothing. I don't know what this print is called. I don't know what this neckline is called. I don't know what it's called when the skirt is like this, and sometimes you just look at something and you just draw a blank and you need a little bit of triggering. And so for me, creating a keywords list and developing it for myself over time, now it just jogs my memory. When I'm stuck with an item, I just read down my keywords list. Oh, yep, it has that. Sweetheart, yep. Full, lined, yes, yes, yes. Okay, great, boho, perfect. And it's like, excellent, yay. Now I have all of these keywords that will help my listing come up in more and more and more searches, thereby doubling, tripling, quadrupling, quintupling. Let's see how many I can actually think of. Your chances of getting that item in front of a buyer and potentially making a sale, getting a like, all of those steps in the process. So keywords list are a way to jog your memory for keywords. Great. Having a listing template will really help. And I do have a video on creating a listing template and all the things that should be included. Also, you can watch like my Poshmark closet reviews, and that will, kind of show where I kind of like nitpick people's listings, because I talk about then how to create a template. And so if you have a listing template that you can then couple with a similar way, like the template is a similar way you want your listing to be and all of the main things that you want included so that you don't forget and you're not racking your brain and forgetting to put the condition in or forgetting to put, the size in, even though the size is in the fields, whatever. So having a listing template so you don't leave anything out, and so you have some consistency, and so you give your buyer a good experience. But then have some copy and paste templates, have some keyword text replacements, whether you do it on your phone, you can do that. Whether you're on the computer, I think I have a video on that as well, how to do text replacements. And so that saves time and keeps things consistent. And then just really knowing overall that it doesn't have to be perfect, because you can always go back and fix it. You can always add more keywords later. You can always revise it completely and relist an item. You can always change it. So just getting it up is the main goal. Get it up, get it good enough, have it have some kind of chance to sell, and then make a process for yourself once a week to go back and review the week's listings and see what else you can add. When you've had a chance to step away, you look at an item with fresh eyes. Maybe you watched a video, you learned a new keyword, maybe you've seen similar items along the way, and now you know another way to describe it. But if you have to do extensive research because you don't know the brand and you have no idea what to price it at, or you know a style, there's some word, but you can't really think of it, you want to kind of look up a similar word, or you're looking for a stock photo, whatever research you're trying to do, give yourself a time limit. Don't go down a rabbit hole. Stop shopping and, come up with a reasonable time frame for yourself. It's happened to me. I've gotten stuck down a rabbit hole before, and I'm like, okay, there just went 15 minutes and I've got 2 listings done. Like, that's not okay. But I do think that research does help, especially if you're new. But if you can put a cap on the research, set a little timer on your phone, keep an eye on your computer while you're researching. Don't let yourself research everything. You don't have to have the stock photo. You don't need to know every single style name. If it's a Banana Republic, button down, flowy, silky polyester top, solid cream color. Like, you don't need to know all the things about that top. You don't. And the person that wants to buy it doesn't need to know because they're probably not looking for it that way. Like, think about Free People. They have style names. So people may be looking for a Free People item by the style name. A Lululemon, they're going to look for a certain Lululemon. I can't even think of all Lululemons tops right now, but something. But like just a random, Chico's, if they're looking for Chico's, they might just need a Chico's jacket to wear with a certain thing that they're going to some special occasion. Haha, maybe not right now. Hope they wear a mask. But like, they may not need to know the exact style name that Chico's had on the website when they listed that item the first time when it sold at retail. So you don't have to go digging for that. Just put Chico's this, bing, bang, your material, your neckline, your sleeve, your length, whatever main things you need to cover. Again, see that listing template video for all those kinds of things to check off. And then call it a day and don't make it take forever, because I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up. They're trying to make the most perfect listing and it doesn't exist and it's unnecessary. So listing like things together the other day, it was great. You guys know I love my cashmere. I had a whole bunch of cashmere and I listed all the cashmere sweaters in one chunk. 12, I think it was. And I was like, yes, if I could just do this all day, this is what I would do. Just list cashmere sweaters. But it was easy because I knew it was a cashmere sweater. I knew it was sweater. I knew it was crew. I knew it was V-neck. It was so easy to list them. The photography was nice because everything was what it was, with them all being the similar thing, similar measurements. But then when I went to list it, it was just like, bam, what's the brand? Bam. Like, it was so fast. So listing like things together, if you're not already doing that, and then over time, it does get faster. And so if you can just try to challenge yourself to get faster, I think you will get to that point. And then know that there's always going to be exceptions. Sometimes when I know I have a $200 item, I'll spend a little more time on it. But if it's Chico's, I'm not spending any time on it. I'm going to look up the stock photo number and be done with it. And that's it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. So I've been talking a lot. Maybe we take a break, get to some stuff in the chat, see what everybody's doing. I have one more area, pricing, and then I have a little bit on scheduling, but I think I need like a minute to see what everybody's saying. Hold on. Oh man, I didn't anticipate that was going to be, me, I'll talk the whole hour. So hey, everyone in the chat and who's here. C. Carter, hey, Rebecca, Cassie from Ohio. I need to get more efficient. Well, great. You came to the right place. Let me know in the chat if any of these tips are helping you, or if you have a specific area that you want to get more efficient at, then we can all start talking about it. Sourcing can be overwhelming, Katie says. Really need to research what sells. Yes, I mean, Katie, you do want to know what sells, but it doesn't matter what's selling for someone else in LA that goes to their bins and out pops 85 million designer dresses. Meanwhile, you're over here in Orlando, let's say like me, and you go to the bins and you're like, yay, White House Black Market, yay, Chico's, woohoo. I can't find Free People to save my life around here. So, or Anthropologie even most of the time. So, it doesn't always matter what's selling unless you're going to go and hunt for that beyond your local means. So if you're doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, you're sourcing online, yeah, that's great. Then you can see what's selling, go find that thing, sell that thing. But if you are dependent on what is in your local market, you need to find what can I find and which are the things that will sell, and then only buy those. So you need to go find what you can find and sell what you can sell, rather than see what's selling, go find that, because you may never find it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure where you're at, but Sally Van Zwol says, this is great. Well, thank you. Glad that you say it's great. Need all those videos, she says, the second down below. Yes, go. There's a playlist that I have, and I just keep adding to it when I have something like super duper, and it's Increase Poshmark Sales playlist. So find that playlist, because that's where all the like super duper, I said that already, like tip videos on every aspect of, I think, how to increase your sales, listing template, buyer confidence, my photography process to go faster, keywords, all these different things. So if you go there, that's like a hit list of everything. And then obviously you can just go and see what other videos I have. And the Poshmark closet reviews that I do, I think are really helpful too. Obviously, they're not specific to you, they're specific to someone else. But if you can see yourself in your closet and what that person is being what is the word, critiqued for, I was going to say criticized for, but I don't criticize, I critique, then that will also be helpful to you. I do have Poshmark closet review and a DIY Poshmark closet review where I'm not doing the video for you, but you're using my guide to walk yourself through your closet just as if I was doing it. Those are both available in the Etsy store. No, I did that. Rachel Doe. Hi, Rebecca. Thanks for this talk. I'm also in Orlando. Oh, awesome. Thanks. Well, connect with me on IG. We can always say, where we are and stuff like that. I will say I have not been doing much, in the wild sourcing. I've mostly been doing a lot of online and trying to be home, even though Gio's in school now, just really getting a lot of project stuff done. But, when I am kind of going out and about, it'd be nice to see people out in the wild again when it's like, safe to commingle. The Grateful Queen. Hey, Quemby, I saw you pop in, but I don't want to lose my whole train of thought. So welcome. Hi, I'm not sure if you're still here, but thank you for joining. I appreciate it. It's awesome. Hey, friends, happy Thursday. Quemby, hit the thumbs up. Oh, yeah, I didn't see that. That was in my notes. No, it wasn't in my notes. Nope, it was not in my notes. I need to do that because I need to get better at that kind of stuff. This is me drawing a thumbs up. So yes, please, I have 15 people here right now. If you can hit the thumbs up, that would be awesome. Thank you so much. Grateful Queen is moderating the chat here and just kind of checking in with everybody. Thank you so much. You are so social. I love that. Rachel Doe, I live in a 1-bedroom and leave out my soft boxes at the moment. It's not like I'm having people over right now. Haha, exactly. Yes. I mean, if you are in a small space, I could definitely see how that would be an issue. And depending on who you live with and that kind of thing, if you have dogs that will knock it over or toddlers that will pull it down, obviously we want to be safe. But, if you can at all find a way to make your setup more stagnant, more stationary, it really does save time. And it was one of the best things I did to harp on my husband for 2 years to redo this from his office to my reseller room. So I really do love that. C. Carter, I don't have a dedicated space. Most inventories in my bedroom. I photo list in the dining room. Hopefully someday I can get my own work spot. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even have to be much. For a while, it was my garage. I had a white wall in my garage and I've had these same box lights, the soft box lights for 5 years. And I had it out in my garage for a while. Then I had it in the foyer of my house, walkway, hallway, and whatever, where you come in the front door. And that worked for a while. And then I finally got the hey, this is a thing, husband, I need a space if we ever are expecting me to make any kind of money. So then I got this space, and we repurposed it. So, I mean, a guest room, a corner, there's lots of things that you can do. Be creative, go through your whole house with the fine tooth comb and see where you can kind of make a little spot. Because it will really help. It will really help. Let's see. And then, if you're doing your some things in one room, some things in another room, then here you're saying, C. Carter, the inventory is in one. So that's fine. Inventory can be wherever. When I first started, I had inventory in 3 different rooms. So I think inventory is less, yeah, you have to go walk around to find it, but that's only when it sells. So it's a little more worth it to go walk around your house and find the items because it's for a sale. So that's good. But for the photographing and listing, photographing is one, listing is another. Maybe you do one of those caddies. Maybe you have a rolling desk. There's a couple people that are on Instagram that have rolling carts that they have all their supplies in. I'd love to do that, but we have carpet in here and I don't know if it would roll around nicely. So that's that. Jacqueline, I made it. Yay. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And I think I'm finally getting to the bottom. Trisha, hi. Hi, my first time catching you live. Thanks for all the advice. Need to streamline my reseller room for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think if you just take a day, once Gio went to school, he just started back in in-person school last week. And I was like, once this happens, I have a list a mile long of projects. And the first one was handle my financial stuff. I really have to get a better system. And then the second thing was tackle the reseller room, because I knew that those 2 things, tackling them first, would help influence everything else that came after. So if you can, take a day and say, this is the day that I do it. I literally took everything out of here. I threw it all on the floor, and I only have in here what I need now. And like I said, I'm going to do a reseller room updated tour. You can check out the old one. That's on the channel already. To see kind of what it looks like. But you guys have seen it on Instagram and stuff. But all right, I'm going to go back into, because that I caught up with the chat. Leave any questions, other thoughts that you want to talk about. I'm going to talk about pricing and scheduling, and then we'll keep going. Sorry. So pricing. This was one that came up when I posted on Instagram, where someone said I really get stuck with pricing. And I have someone that I work with now pretty regularly. I have my reseller chats where you can, send a certain amount of money via PayPal for either a half an hour appointment or a hour appointment. You can schedule it via Calendly. And so people have taken me up on a lot of different topics, whether they want to know about ThreadUp or they want to know about Poshmark Boutique or they want a better process or whatever. I've had several different clients, if you will. And this one, we've actually been doing it weekly, and it's been awesome, pretty much weekly. And one of her things was like just getting stuck and tripped up on what to price. And I was like, don't try to be perfect. The perfect price doesn't exist because it changes all the time, and it changes between who's looking at the item, right? Like I could be like, oh, that's a $25 item. She could look at it and be like, I'm not paying more than $10. And then comes somebody else and they buy it for full price at, 75 or something. So it's in the eye of the beholder. The market changes all the time. You can't totally trust Poshmark comps because when you bundle things, they only see the full price of the sold. You don't see that they maybe only paid $10 for each item in that bundle, but it was a $40 item. It's going to still show up as sold at $40, even though the buyer only actually paid $10 for that item. So, you can't always even trust the comps and solds. So I think checking the comps as quickly as possible, preferably when you're buying the item, like I'd mentioned before during sourcing, you already have an idea because you decided whether or not to buy it. So you've already checked the comps once. If you do the screenshots, now you have that information already. You may not need to check comps again. But if you do, set a time limit, 2 or 3 minutes if you need to, 30 seconds, use filters. Don't try to find the exact thing. Find a similar thing. And for basic things, your bread and butter brands, you should start to try to get a sense for where you want to price them. Honestly, for me at this point, I'm pricing high, and I'll talk about that in a second. And I'm pricing on the categories. And I think I've mentioned this before, and I got this tip from Mogi Beth. And when she said it, I was like, mind blown, genius girl. Like I was like, how did I never think of this before? She was so awesome for bringing it up. So it's basically like the categories are 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 100. Those are the pricing categories that Poshmark offers and how you can filter things. If you price on 25, you're going to show up in 0 to 25 and you're going to show up in 25 to 50. Genius, double exposure if you price at 25. Same as if you price at 50. Sometimes you're going to come up at the highest. Sometimes you're going to come up at the lowest. But what do people do? They sort by the lowest. What do people do? They might go on the high end of the category and see because they want to get something better, but they know they're going to send an offer. You don't know what their buying psychology is, but pricing on the category for additional exposure I thought was a genius idea. And so I've adopted that for almost everything. You can't, obviously, if it's a $35 item, you could go down to 25, you could go up to 50. But if it's a $35 item, it's a $35 item, just price it at 35. But if you know that you're going to send out a lot of offers, if you know that you send out generous offer to likers, bam, $50 it is. And that's what I do. I price up to the category, to the nearest category, and then I just send out ridiculous offers and I drop prices and I do all of the sales generating activities. One might think that's more work. You could say, well, just price it at 35. They're going to buy it at 35 or they're going to send you an offer. Why are you doing all these other things? Because I don't think that exactly always works. And so I would rather do a little bit of extra work, but that generating activity, like sending an offer, dropping the price, things like that, it gets you back on the person's radar again. If you just leave it at 35, they like the item, even if that's a competitive price, now you have no reason to go back and throw it in their face again, like you do with an offer or closet clear out or whatever you do to, whatever you do. So I think if you price higher with the understanding that you are going to do these other sales generating activities, that could generate some buzz and some goings on. But if you price it high, but then don't actually do those things, now you're just priced high and then you have a problem too. So I think you need to price on the category if you can, price according to your business model and the sales generating activities that you take part in, and then actually do them. And you don't need to find the exact price. As long as you're, generally within an area, that's okay. And so you don't have to find the exact item in order to price it. And for a lot of basic things, if you know you're always selling White House Black Market, you should in general have an idea of like what you would sell a White House, like I list White House Black Market usually at 25 or 50. I do. If it's a nicer item, a dress or a suede skirt or whatever, I'm going to put it at 50. If it's a top or a really basic item, I'm going to put it at 25, knowing that I send out aggressive offers. And then if I end up at $15 or $17 on a top, I'm okay with that. And that works for me. I don't need to look everything up. So if you can get to the point where you're selling similar things, you can price things similarly, you should already kind of have that kind of cooking in your head. And then scheduling, I feel like people struggle a lot with knowing, especially when they go full time, what to do with themselves. Like how should you make up your day? And I have some thoughts that's going to be coming out in the future. I'm not quite ready for it yet, but I have some things brewing in the old dome about that. But for right now, I did do a scheduling video if you want to see how I do my day. Now that was pre-Geo going to school, so I'll probably update that once I settle on a schedule a little bit more. But just to generally say, I have a day to do this thing or that thing. Like on Sunday, I order supplies. On Monday, I print my measurements forms. On Tuesday, I go to buy, sell, trade stores. I have a day for pretty much everything, and some things could fall on the same day. But I know that those are the days I'm going to do it. And so I don't freak out the whole week of when is that thing going to get done, because I know I do it on Monday. And on Monday, I do it for the entire week. If that's a thing that makes sense. If it's a daily task, like I right now am digging, photographing my daily items, listing my daily items. I do it in a 2-step process, but I do it every day. I haven't been batching as much as I used to and trying to take 50 photos to last me the week or 80, whatever, how many photos. I'm doing it every day because I want to get into some kind of routine. And then if I want to break that routine later, I will. But right now I'm finding just getting a small chunk of things done on a daily basis that I know this is my daily routine. In the morning, checking all of my accounts and doing everything, getting my listings up. Then I'll come in and measure, then I'll photograph, then I'll make my drafts, those kinds of stuff. I'm trying to do something on YouTube, whether it's make the video or edit the video, on alternate days. So every day I have parts of or entire tasks to do, but I know what day I'm doing it. Now things happen, like yesterday was inauguration day. I'm a political junkie. I took the day off. So on Tuesday, I did all my photos for Wednesday. I did all my listings for Wednesday. Instead of doing those things on Wednesday, I sat up, snuggled Malia, and watched the entire inaugural coverage from start to finish. And it was glorious. And I was so happy to be able to take the day off and not feel completely stressed that I had all these things to do. But I knew what I was expecting myself to do on a Wednesday, and then I covered for myself. Same like you would do at your regular job. If you knew that you had to take off for a certain day, you'd get your tasks covered, or you would do it before you left, or you knew what you could do when you got back. So I think if we look at our, reselling, either as your business or as your job, whatever you look at it as, in these chunks of tasks, and you assign them to a day, even if it's loose, even if you don't get to it, but you generally try to do XYZ on Mondays, and then give yourself grace if you can't, but you can try and keep trying to work on a system and a schedule that works for you. I think that will help overall your efficiency, because you won't be flapping in the breeze every day trying to figure out what you need to do. You'll already kind of know. So that is what my thought was on scheduling. So let's pop back into the chat and see what everybody is saying. If not too much activity. Let's see what's going on. Blah, blah, blah. Vicky, hello from Independence, Missouri. Lots of good information. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jacqueline, again, I love that pricing strategy. Yes, good. Well, I'm glad to hear it. If anybody has anything that they want to add or offer of something that's an efficiency hack or reselling hack or on any of these things, whether it's listing, photography, pricing, shipping, sourcing, we'd love to all benefit from your tips too. If you have a specific question, bottleneck, dilemma that you're facing, I would love to talk about that as well. And we'll just kind of see how it goes. We're at 45 minutes. So if we don't have too much more, I won't make us all hang around for no reason, but I definitely want to be here and available to everybody to keep talking about these kinds of stuff. And like I say, I hope that every week I'll have some kind of topic that's not just that's content-y, because I'm finding that there's some topics that I want to discuss that's not really like I want to talk about it because I have thoughts on it, but it's not necessarily something that people are searching for when they're searching Poshmark videos. And so some of my videos don't get as many views, but then once they're found, they're like, oh, that was a good video, but they didn't know they needed it, I guess you could say. So I like talking about things, hopefully that maybe most people aren't talking about, maybe if I'm that original. And so I think this is a good format for those kinds of things. And I love the discussion with you guys. So let's see. Can't wait for a day in the life video. Yeah, I mean, I did some vlogs in the course of my YouTube, whatever. I'm coming up, I think, on my 2-year anniversary. I don't know if it's 2 years or 3 years. I have to look. Is that bad that you don't even know? I don't even know if it's 2 years or 3 years. I know I've been a reseller for 5 years coming this June, so that's cool. But yes, it's hard for me to shoot vlogs because before it was like I didn't want all geo in it really that much, and it was hard for me to shoot and do things because I was limited on time. And so I felt all the time it took me to get the shots was time that I could be doing the things, and that really was difficult for me. So now that I have more time, I feel like I could do a more vlog style, but I also kind of feel like my day is pretty boring, which I imagine most of our days are pretty boring. I'm not, one of those super cool resellers that we watch their videos and like, oh my God, they have all these cool things going on. Like, that's not me. But I am pretty good at sitting here talking and telling you why certain things are happening and giving you the whole backstory. So maybe it'll be more of a talking video, and I have a couple of other ideas. So stay tuned for them. We will see. Record keeping, organizing video would be helpful. Also, if you have info on that to share. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't bring that up. So I do have one that I'm kind of tossing around. I want to make sure I have more tips before I actually put it out. I think actually I have a post on Instagram about it. It's basically about the metrics that I keep because I try really not to do math that much. I also try not to count that much. For anybody that has watched my channel for a long time, it's gotten better, but I will count things and then immediately forget the number and then have to count it multiple times. And I think we can all chalk that up to like mom brain, but how long does that actually last for? Like, can I keep saying that all till like even Gio's like, 27, or like at 5, does it stop? Like he's 5 now? I don't know. But, counting is a problem, math is a problem. So I try to have everything like in a spreadsheet where there's formulas. I actually have a call tomorrow with this wonderful woman that created a custom spreadsheet for me. And I do have a video on that already, C. Carter, on that spreadsheet. So look, Rebecca, the reseller spreadsheet, see what I got. I have a ThreadUp one. That's not the one I'm talking about. My reseller spreadsheet, it's how I used to manage all of my inventory, how I tracked everything, all of my sales, and all of that was custom built for me. And now I'm having her come back tomorrow. We're going to go over everything and I'm going to make some tweaks to it because what I found is that my business has changed. I've added income streams. And so my exact spreadsheet doesn't quite match up with everything. And so what I'd like to do is create it so that I can grow and we have like blank lines and blank fields and be prepared for the growth. So I don't have to call her in every year and be like, hey, I need this and I need that. Because it is expensive to have someone create a custom spreadsheet for you. And if you don't know what you want and are very particular and already have an idea of what you want out of it, I would not recommend doing it because it's hard to express to someone what it is that you're looking for when you don't actually know how it can be built in the like formula world. So she's been very nice walking me through it, and I appreciate her very much. But anyway, so I have a spreadsheet video. I could do something else about the metrics, like I say, of what I track every day. Like, what am I paying attention to? Is it my sales? Is it my profit? Is it my earnings? Like all of that kind of stuff. So I want to talk about that because I try to do as little of that as possible because numbers really hurt my head. So I like to think of myself as a pretty intelligent person, but man, numbers really get me every time. So I'm going to work on that metrics video. You check out the spreadsheet video, and then you can always message me with any other questions you have, and I can do another video after that. But so record keeping and organizing, it's all in a spreadsheet is basically my point. I keep my receipts, but I don't really do anything with them. Everything just gets entered into the spreadsheet in one format or another. And so I don't keep any paper, anything. I just keep the receipts. I don't ever really look at them again, and everything gets logged into my spreadsheet. And because it's custom, one thing flows into the next, so that at tax time, I'm basically just printing out one form, one sheet, whatever, one tab. And like, that's what I tell my accountant, and that's it. And so, as a YouTuber, we're all like, we can't talk about taxes and stuff. And I don't want to get into that either, which is why I don't talk about too many things, but I can talk about, the metrics. So that video will be coming. Diva D something. Hi, Rebecca. Thank you for your boutique course. I really learned a lot. Feel confident about giving boutique a shot now. Like, yay! Thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate that. I love that I was able to make a course about Poshmark Boutique, because it's not one of those topics that is really talked about that much. But we all know that it is very attractive if you're like me in buying something once that's brand new and selling it again and again. Like the idea of a multiple quantity listing is like the greatest thing to me. And so I actually really like having thrifted items and boutique items. And I find that boutique really allowed me to be creative in a different way, because you're picking out different things and sourcing in a different way that is fun. It comes directly to you. You don't have to go out. So during the pandemic, it was a godsend. And it can balance out your closet in a lot of ways, because you can go specifically source a boutique item for whatever category you want. And some things are small, like jewelry is super small, so you can add a ton of inventory without adding a ton of space. So I forget who it was that has the one bedroom. If you want to add, jewelry items that are boutique, you could add hundreds of SKUs and they could all be located in one little bin, and it wouldn't, could shove it under your bed. And like, it would be great because you can make tons of money doing the work once, listing the item once, restocking it when it sells out. Like, it's just awesome. So thank you for taking the course. Thank you for purchasing the course. And thank you for giving it a little shout out. I appreciate it. Lord knows I do a lot of shouting out of it myself. So thank you for someone else doing that. I hope that you get a lot of sales. I hope that you find a lot of really great items that are profitable for you. I had an order go out today. I took a picture of it. I'm not going to post about it today. I'll probably post about it tomorrow, but I took the picture today. So it'll be on Instagram, I guess, tomorrow. And it was like $110 bundle, and it had thrifted items and it had boutique items. And I'm like, this is why I love this, because, she came and bought both. And not everybody does that. A lot of people just buy boutique and a lot of people just buy thrifted, but it's nice when they put them together, because I'm like, man, that's a lot of nice little profit going on right here. And all I had to do was, list that item, and I've sold it 10 times already or whatever. So and it increases their order. Like, maybe if she didn't buy all the jewelry items that went, she would have just bought the 2 shirts. Well, now that she added all these jewelry items on top of it, I made like an extra $50 off of that. So that was great. So if you don't source for jewelry, you have clothing, consider adding some jewelry boutique, or consider adding accessories or shoes or whatever you want. So in the course, I do go in detail, very detail, about how to buy, when to buy, why to buy, what to analyze when you buy. I give my vendors, like, it's really meaty. So if you're interested in that, a link is down below on that. That's a great idea for me, actually. Good. I don't remember which idea it was that I said, but I hope that it works out. The custom spreadsheet or the inventory, I don't know. It was about the spreadsheet though. C Carter. But yeah, that's, everything I have. So last call for alcohol over here, last call for questions or comments, and then I think we'll call it a show. This has been fun. I loved this because you guys were pretty active and you had some things in there that, you brought up and some questions. I hope that this topic was, interesting enough to draw you in. So if you want to leave a comment, whether it's in the chat or in the comments that I'll see after the fact of any of these topics that maybe should be their own video that you want to know more in depth about, I pretty much do all of my I come up with my own topics for videos, but when you guys request one, as long as I feel like I have something to offer and it's within my realm of being able to capture the video, I do them. I do all of them. I do all the requests. So never shy away from sending me a request. I would love video requests in YouTube. That way, like when I check my YouTube comments, they're video things. Like that's great. That would be awesome if you could do that when you have them. All right, I am going to go and do a couple of things here. My mom is here. She snowbirds here in the wintertime from New Jersey, and she offers help. So sometimes she does some mending for me because I told you guys I don't mend. So sometimes she does that for me. Yesterday, she helped me organize all my tissue paper, which I know sounds really OCD, but I have a lot of it from ThreadUp and I wanted to get it all into one box. So she helped me take off their stickers, fold it nicely, put it all in the box. So now I have it available in my shipping station to use on future packages and can reuse that tissue paper. So she helped me with that. Today I have another project for her. So we're putting mama to work. Yay for moms. I know they're so awesome. I think a lot of people have their moms help them, whether it's thrift for them or wash for them, things like that. But I think today I'm going to give her a project actually in the Poshmark app. We'll see how it goes. It's technological, so you never know. But she's actually, I'm probably just as bad as she is with technology, so we'll see. But all right, I'm going to get going. I appreciate everybody that joined. For everyone that watches the replay, I hope that you get a lot out of it as well. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, click the notifications bell, like the video on the way out, leave a comment on the video. I always read and respond to them all, and give the video a thumbs up. Thanks so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next week, Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, for another live. Bye.